we can get going. Excellent. Oh, kia ora everyone. Thank you for coming along to this Zoom session with Hamilton Jet. Great to see so many cameras on. Really, really good. Hope you're all thinking of some questions to throw out to Grant and his team throughout the presentation. And I'll let you guys get started. Over to you, Grant.
Awesome, thank you. Hey, look, we'd like to welcome you to the Hamilton Jet STEM careers presentation. Personally, I'd like to be in person with you all, but we're going to do this on Zoom today. My name is Grant Cameron, and I am the Senior HR Advisor here at Hamilton Jet. And basically, I oversee all the summer interns and the graduate applications. So I'm the one that your CV will be coming to. For those that don't know Hamilton Jet, we're a global technology, engineering and manufacturing company. And we've currently got over 400 employees. So it's a really good place to work. And today you'll get to hear some of the stories of the products we're working on and some of the business markets that we're in. We really want to keep this presentation pretty informal today. So just enjoy the stories. You'll get to hear from 3 managers, but more importantly, you're going to get to hear from 5 of our graduates who have all been through UC, and you'll hear some different stories regarding software engineering, mechanical engineering, and mechatronics. So please enjoy. We'll have some questions at the end, and we'll do our best to answer those. So I'm just going to hand over to Hamish, all yours.
You're muted, Hamish.
Sorry, guys. Zoom failed already. I'm just got a presentation here. I'll just get that up and give me a wee minute here. So I'm just going to do a wee sort of introduction of what's happening in mechanical. So what we're all about. Actually, I might just yeah, righty-ho. Okay. All right. Is that? Can you guys see that? Okay, it's not the presentation view, but is it near enough readable? All right.
Yeah, it's good.
Cool. All right. Okay. Okay. So for new product development, what's the first question is why are we doing it? And coming straight from our company purpose statement, is to lead the marine world with innovative water jet solutions. So developing new water jets is our #1 strategic priority, and innovation is at the core of our values. So, a real pioneering spirit as part of our long history, and we're 4 generations rich now in terms of innovative thinking. So on the left, you'll see Bill Hamilton. He's the founder of the company, an inventor, an industrialist. We've got John Hamilton, his son, also an engineer and an adventurer. And then his son, Mike, who's still in the business today. And then Mike's son, Sam, who's part of the R&D team as well. So really great to have, rich company history and all about that sort of innovative spirit. So what are we doing in terms of new product development for mechanical? We're replacing our whole jet range. We've got about 18 jet models in our current range, and we're replacing the whole lot. You can see on screen there we're 7 models in so far. So ranging from our very smallest at the bottom and up to our sort of medium-sized HTX 52. So we're improving our performance features, durability, and basically making our jets perform better for our customers. Yeah, we're making really good progress, but there's still plenty to do. So just to give you a little bit of a taste of the old versus new. So up there is a 571 from 1992, and that's just been replaced in 2020 by an HTX 52. So, give you a bit of a feel for what's different. We're also working on some other exciting stuff. It's a bit secret squirrels, I can't say too much, but this on the right hand side here is a fully electric ferry for the Auckland ferry market. So that's a recent development that we're involved with, and we're developing a new product for. So how do we do it? Our development programs, we use a phase gate approach. Our design review process is really key to that. We use a knowledge-driven product design philosophy to try and minimize the sort of inventing we have to do as part of our development programs. We rely strongly on a lessons learned process to feed into our future programs to minimize snags and issues we have during design and manufacture. And we really don't like rework. Certainly it kills a business in my opinion. So we've made sure our processes are developed to avoid that at all costs. So that's really important to us. So how do we do it? So in the design team, we're completing the mechanical design, structural analysis, corrosion analysis, hydraulics design, and the controls integration on the jet. So that's our main focus. We use a lot of aluminium castings in the product, so design for manufacture is really important, and that sort of casting design specifically is a big part of the design activities. So we have to make a lot of trade-off decisions as part of the design as well. So obviously we've got to balance the considerations around weight, cost, complexity, and also parts reuse and spares in the field. So it's always a balancing act between something that's going to fit the structural requirements, but also not be too heavy and not be too complex to make, and all of that kind of stuff. So that's a daily game we play in terms of the trade-offs there. So who are we? We're 16 engineers in the mechanical team dedicated to new product development. I think we've got six or so different nationalities in the team. So we've got a great breadth of experience from all different sectors or facets of engineering. And we've been really lucky to have some really great graduates in the past and interns. And we actually really enjoy working with you young, enthusiastic folk. And Dylan's certainly a testament to that. And so that's us. We also enjoy a spot of go-karting every now and again. So in terms of a graduate or intern position in the mechanical development team, what's in it for me? I guess come and be a sponge, learn from some experienced engineers, and also get some opportunity to, we work very closely cross-functionally with the manufacturing engineering team, the hydrodynamics or research and development team, and obviously production and stuff like that as well. So even though your focus will be the mechanical design aspect, there's a good sort of opportunity to get some wider experience with those other areas. You can gain some exposure to a well-structured design environment. So, or at least we like to think we're pretty well structured. So I guess being a bigger company, we've got reasonably high standards when it comes to the design deliverables, and some experience around how to do that stuff is always good. There's opportunity to spend time in the factory. The factory's right at our doorstep, so that's a real bonus. I've worked in places before where the factory's in Italy and you have to get on a plane and travel 30 hours to go to the factory, whereas we have it right here. So it's really a great benefit being able to go and see and touch the product that you've designed. We'll give you the opportunity to jump in the deep end and own a part of the jet design right through the development cycle. Depending on what position is available. If there's more time, you get to see you're right from the start of casting design all the way to assembling the jet. You'll be well supported by a welcoming team. Like I said, we really enjoy having graduates and interns involved, and we genuinely welcome some fresh ideas. So that's just a real quick summary about what we're about in the mechanical team. And yeah, hopefully that's gives you a bit of a flavour for what we're about. So that's that.
Awesome. Thank you, Hamish. That was
No
brilliant.
worries.
Thank you. We'd like to introduce you to Dylan. He's part of Hamish's team. Thank you, Dylan.
Sweet, I'll take it away. Hey everyone, I'm Dylan Cameron and I'm a mechanical design engineer within the new jet product development team at Hamilton Jet, working under Hamish, sort of in that team, and I'll just talk. Yeah, I'll try and be a bit more concise today because there's a lot of things I could talk about. It's an exciting place, an exciting thing once you leave uni, sort of getting into the workforce. But yeah, I think I'll just start through going through sort of my key learnings through the internships and sort of what you can look forward to, and then maybe a bit of a sneak peek of what I'm doing now, sort of a year out of uni. So I did my first internship for professional hours in the summer of 2019 at Hamilton Jet. And I think the biggest thing is straight into it is you're in a team working with like very experienced engineers, but they're sort of already relying on you to contribute, which is kind of scary. Like Hamish said, you get thrown in the deep end, but it's the best way to learn. And it's sort of, I guess, going into the work industry, you can sort of think that it's going to take years before you get to do anything, or you're going to be stuck just doing little drawing changes and stuff like that. But in reality, you become a vital part of the team very quick. And as you are being that sponge, learning much as you can, and trying to reapply that. So I think, yeah, coming into my first internship, very nervous, just lots of little things that you don't really think about, like what are you going to wear, how are you going to interact, all these sort of things. Even just the fact like flexible hours, when you're going to start and finish, all these different things that you don't really think about. Software management, all these different software things, how you're going to organize your files. I guess in uni, you're sort of just used to doing your assignments and going through, but yeah, there's a whole another oyster can of worms to get into when you're in the industry. But I think it's really exciting because it's that first sort of segment you get really applying what you've been learning for so many years. Obviously going through your sciences at high school and then coming into university, starting to get into your discipline, mechanical, going through the ropes. But yeah, really getting to, especially during that internship, getting a sneak peek into what you can really do with this degree and how powerful it can be. Yeah, and I think just, again, just touching on to that point, just diverse, meeting a bunch of people, working with a whole bunch of people, it is just a really exciting environment being an engineer. It's not as, I guess, sort of isolating as it can be at uni, just working on assignments by yourself, etc. I think, yeah, the coolest thing for me was just how the range of tasks that you get to do. You sort of start off, like Hamish said, if you go into sort of the product management, product development cycle, you start off right in the concept stage going through, but you're continually working in a team, particularly with the water jets at Hamilton Jet. There's sort of 9 different modules it's broken up to. So there's different owners of each module, and your module interacts with different things, whether it be the reverse system, trying to work around the steering system, etc. So you're continually working with other people and developing your products alongside each other, which I think is really cool. I think for me, the biggest, I guess, well, the scariest thing was, I think about a week in, was doing a sort of design review in front of, I think, about 20 people in the room, all these experienced engineers, a manager, and here I am, a little old like graduate, sitting at the end of the table presenting, telling these engineers how to design something and how it's going to work. So yeah, it's definitely different from what you're used to at uni, but it's really exciting, and I hope, yeah, I hope it is a scary thing, but it's an exciting thing. Yeah, I don't want to go for too long, so I'll quickly just share. You see that right? Perfect. So this was the first module that I worked on at Hamilton Jet. So this was the reverse system for one of our newest jet, HCX 47. So yeah, this is something as like 6 months out of university. This is something I was entrusted with through the full design. So this is an aluminium casting, which I had to go through and design all of that, and the machining and then the painting, and then the full system here, all the kinematics, all the linkages, how it's going to work, designing the hydraulic cylinder, doing all the calculations regarding that, and then also how it's going to be mounted. So yeah, there's a lot to get through, but I think just, yeah, again, how exciting it is to go through sort of what you're learning at university and being able to apply that in a company like Hamilton Jet. And just to finish off, my favorite point, I think, for me is also, like Hamish was mentioning, about the factory, just how close it is, being able to sit at my desk, and then, not right now while we're working from home, but typically being able to just go out into the factory, see things you've designed being made, being cast, being machined, go and talk to the factory staff, being able to test down on the line, going through and doing hydraulic testing or testing different things, going out there, seeing ideas and just talking to people. So I think, yeah, there's a real good balance in that. And I think it's really exciting and stimulating for me to be able to design a casting, see it all in CAD, and then 2 or 3 months later see it in person. So I think that's really rewarding, and I hope you can all sort of get excited and look forward to that if you when you get into the industry. So I'll stop there and thank you.
Awesome, thank you, Dylan. That's wonderful. Just like to introduce you now to Saxon. He's also one of our mechanical engineers. Saxon.
Can you hear me now? Yeah, cool. Good afternoon, everyone. Hi, I'm Saxon. So yeah, I'm also a mechanical engineer, did a mechanical degree at UC. Work in a team similar to Hamish and Dylan's, but we deal with the current product range. So once they've designed a new product and handed it off and the design's complete, we maintain that product and do a few other things. So some of my key responsibilities is when our standard product doesn't suit a specific project or ship design or something, we might have to adapt it slightly. So that's, our team will deal with the customer or deal with sales and adapt that product to suit that project. I guess an example of that is catamarans and stuff tend to be quite tight hull shapes, and we often have to move things around or redesign certain aspects of our jet to suit those hull shapes. We also do product improvement. So throughout the life cycle of the product, there's obviously obsolescence involved with components we use, or general things that could be improved on as we gain more engineering information. So we deal with that, and that includes complaints as well. So internal and external complaints. So we've got a factory, obviously everyone's mentioned, just across the footpath from us. So yeah, we solve all those complaints. And just general technical support as well. So provide advice for new projects, provide advice internally for manufacture and procurement. That's a big one at the moment. Lots of obsolescence and lots of difficulty obtaining components. So we have to provide plenty of advice for purchasing. Yeah, so we recently had some staffing issues at Hamilton Jet, and I got called out to the factory for 3 months. It was quite interesting. Spent 1 month in the foundry to start with, in the sand casting foundry. Bit of a shock going from working in an office to being in the foundry, closing molds and getting hands-on with the product. And then I got to spend another couple of months in final assembly, which was really interesting, being once again hands-on with our product and seeing how our drawings are used by our factory staff, and seeing the product being put together was really nice. Before Hamilton Jet, I did 2 internships like everyone else does. One was at Ferry Marine. That's a trimaran building company, or was a trimaran building company in Christchurch. They made quite an interesting product. It was a trailerable trimaran, so the hulls could fold up and fit inside the other hull, and then it could be towed around the country and sailed. And then I completed my professional hours at Hamilton Jet. During those, I spent the whole time basically making 3D customer-facing models. So once again, we've got all of our old jets designed on AutoCAD, and didn't really have 3D models that customers now want to use. So we modeled everything up, and we worked with AutoCAD drawings and scans and so forth to create those models. I guess my key learnings from my internships was just to get involved and talk to people, ask lots of questions. Engineers can be, I guess, quite task focused sometimes. So it's good to, you know, stretch out and meet new people and have lots of conversations. One thing I did lots of was when I saw someone going to do something interesting, I just asked if I could tag along. You know, there's always time in the day to go and learn something new and meet new people. I guess similar to Dylan, some of the challenges I had at the start were just learning where to find information and just settling in those first few days. Every company, I guess, structures their information slightly differently. So it'd be quite hard to find what you need to find or figure out what you're supposed to be working on. Yeah. In terms of what I enjoy most at Hamilton Jet, it's similar to Dylan as well. It's a really large company. We make a lot of different products. And we have a lot of different people with a lot of different skills. So there's heaps of people to learn from and heaps of professional staff in lots of different fields that you can team up with and get along with and learn a lot from. And I guess the amount of products that we do, I mean, we make jet units mainly, but we have, you know, that requires a lot of different skill sets. So you can really pick a topic area that you're interested in and become more of a specialist in that field or become the person that you're called upon. Sorry, I haven't got any fancy photos today. I didn't realize we had that capability, but yeah, I'll pass it back to Grant.
Awesome. Hey, thank you, Saxon. Yeah, and just so everybody knows, Saxon put the hard yards in and out in the factory, and it was a really good output. So thank you, Saxon. Look, we'd like to introduce you to one of our other managers, Adam. And Adam's just going to take a different journey as we now look at control systems and everything related to controls and just some different disciplines in the business. Thank you, Adam.
Oh, thanks, Grant. Yep. So my name's Adam Loveland. I'm the Controls Development Manager at Hamilton Jet. And I'd like to say very quickly, because I've been inspired, as always, by Hamish. Hamilton Jet is an absolute rare jewel of a company to work for. And it is the fact that it is family owned. Too many companies have been ruined by going from being a customer focused company to being a shareholder focused company. And I've seen it time and time again. I've seen it in the automotive industry. The HP company is prime example. Two very passionate people get took over by shareholders and they just strip the company bare. Hamilton Jet is not like that at all. They value their people. They value their customers. They love Christchurch, Canterbury and New Zealand. And when we're looking for kind of where to build our PCBs or get our raw materials or get our parts, we always focus on Canterbury first. And if we can't do Canterbury, it's then New Zealand. People talked about moving manufacturing to China or somewhere cheaper in the world. It's never going to happen. It really isn't. All the focus is in New Zealand. It is an absolute pleasure to work for Hamilton Jet. So yeah, thanks for bringing that up, Hamish. It's always nice to be re-inspired. So alongside all the jet work, which you know is very interesting and everything, but we've been doing jets for a fair few years. It's not where my interests lie, I'm afraid. So I'm going to sell control systems because it's where all the fun is and it's where all the technology is going. Yeah, we can suck water up and blow it out the back of a boat anytime you like. We've been developing control systems for more than 35 years, and they are pretty much tailor-made. So we go from anything down to river boats all the way up to boats which are 80, 90 meters long. And these things are really big boats. They're ferries, military, patrol, search and rescue, pilot boats. Where else are we going? Wind farm is definitely picking up at the moment, hence the background. And all of those areas are also bringing in new ideas. Those customers want digital twins. They want Internet of Things. They want to be able to know how their boats are operating anywhere in the world, whether their ferries are on time, whether the pilots have been dropped off, and when those boats need to be serviced and maintained. So we're already developing systems which will hook up to satellite networks, using cell phone and Wi-Fi networks to gather data off the boats and get them directly to the fleet managers which are operating in offices anywhere in the world. We're also developing autonomous systems. So there are fire service firefighting boats, and they found that if they can get the boat closer to the fire, they can put the fire out. They can't do that with people on board. So we're now getting into the realm of doing firefighting boats, search and rescue boats. I don't know whether I'm allowed to tell you, but the Hong Kong police have a boat that goes and chase drug smugglers across the seas. You know, there's all kinds of areas as well and above of military operations that are using autonomy, and autonomy is a big area that we're developing right now. And as you saw from the slides that Hamish showed you, we're working on hybrid vessels. These are parallel hybrids, series hybrids, and full electric boats. So the areas of controls and controls development is absolutely fascinating at the moment, and it's definitely going to keep me busy for a fair few years. We've got 5 control systems in the market. The last control system, called AVX Express, was launched in Singapore in March. And I run basically 4 teams. I've got a systems team. Systems team goes and captures all the business and customer requirements and brings them back into the company, and then decomposes those into electronic requirements, design requirements, and software requirements, or feature or functionality requirements. So my teams are made up of systems engineers, electronics engineers, design engineers, and software engineers. And then over and above that, and you'll hear from Ellis later, there is a completely separate test team who go and do all of the testing pretty much for the entire company, and that's functional, certification, and environmental testing as well. So yeah, Hamilton Jet, you'd be quite surprised just how many different areas of engineering we actually cover. We're not just making riverboats. We're not based in Hamilton either. I'd like to point that out. We really do touch on multiple areas with multiple disciplines. And one of the great aspects of working for Hamilton Jet is you never get bored, because you will touch on different areas of that engineering throughout your career, and sometimes throughout your day. And the other thing I'd like to reiterate that Hamish pointed out is the factory really is across the road. You come out of the design area, you cross the tarmac, and you're straight into the factory. I've worked in the UK where the manufacturing department's been 10 miles away, and in some cases 100 miles away. Having it on your doorstep makes a huge, huge difference. Having the ability to actually go and eyeball and see how the processes are being built or made or tested makes you a much richer engineer. So yeah, Hamilton Jet, as I say, is a real jewel in the rough, and you won't find many companies like it. And now I'm going to stop talking, and I'm going to hand over to, well, back to Grant, and let the graduates have their speak. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Adam. Jessica, we look forward to hearing from you. So come and share your story with us. Thank you, Jessica.
Hi everyone, I'm Jessica. So I finished up my Mechatronics degree at the end of last year. So I'm currently working as a graduate in the controls department on an automatic file synchronization system. So it's pretty much just cloud-based file sharing for people commissioning boats. So when they put the water jets onto the boats along with the control system, they're able to share data back to the office. I did an internship with Hamilton Jet back in 2019, actually same year as Dylan. I was working on Overwatch, which was another cloud-based mechatronics project. I got to spend a lot of time on the test boat, which I loved. I got to go in and around Littleton quite a bit, which was fun. I also got to organise a factory tour, so I got to share what was happening in the foundry with some of my classmates, which was pretty good. I did have a couple of other internships as well. I went to Rocket Lab and Dawn Aerospace. So from there, I got a bit more of an insight into the satellite industry and the process of actually putting satellites up into space, which was great. It really added on to the experience I'd had at Hamilton Jet, where I'd needed information from satellites to get my project working, which was pretty good. I'd say some challenges across all the internships was just your classic time management and communication and teamwork. It's quite general, but it really is important, I found. I did pick up some of those skills at uni still. I did some club work for UC Aerospace. I was a team lead for a bit, and then I was club president. So while I was doing that sort of club work, I picked up leadership and project management and financial planning, that sort of skills. So if you do have the opportunity to get involved in a university club, I would really highly recommend it, just to pick up a few extra skills while you're still at uni. And then, yeah, now I've ended up in a job. It's pretty good. I'm really enjoying being a grad. It's quite a supportive environment, so I feel like there's a lot of people I can go and talk to like find out more information about different projects and systems and stuff like that. And the work-life balance is really good. I actually have a life outside of work, and not like uni at all. It's great. So I would highly recommend being a graduate here. So thank you.
Wow, awesome, Jessica. Thank you very, very much. I'd like to introduce you to Alice. He's also part of Adam's team. So Alice, thank you.
Yeah, g'day. I'm Alice. So I finished up my Mechatronics degree end of 2020. So my current job, I'm kind of working with Python and developing like a software test framework. So in the test team, we've got some like real grunty simulation PCs, and that lets us run simulations of customer boats, and that's like a massive asset for us to do testing without having the overhead of all this hardware to maintain. So my internship role when I first started, end of 2020, was constructing that framework, and now it runs on a nightly basis against various kind of jet control designs and gives like vital feedback back to the controls team every morning. So if someone breaks code, we know about it and we know exactly what it is. So you can let them know kind of what area needs to be looked at to repair that. And then from that, I managed to nab myself a grad role. So I've been at Hamjet full-time for just over a year now. And I've taken on another test framework that's actually in hardware now, with the newly developed control system, which Adam mentioned, AVX Express. So that kind of lets me get real kind of on board with all the new features that we're putting out. So I get to go down to Loveland Harbour, testing out most recently the remote control vessels. So I can sit on a boat on a computer and drive the control system via like an Ethernet connection. So you could be sat anywhere in the world driving a boat around, and using awesome advanced control features, which will keep you at a set speed and a set heading, and like you're not driving with a steering wheel, you're driving with a keyboard, which is insane kind of capabilities. And I guess my key learnings from the summer internships would be take every opportunity you can. It's pretty similar to what the other guys have said. Yeah, there's so much going on in the company, and just stick your hand up for everything, get involved with it. And I'd also say making mistakes is super beneficial, because then you have a problem you get to solve, and you're all engineers, you love problem solving. So yeah, it's just an opportunity to learn. And I'd say the challenges in the summer internships, sometimes you'll get blocked in work that you're trying to do, but it's probably outside of your control. So just try to be flexible, creative, and maybe you end up coming from a different direction. It might be a better solution in the end. And yeah, what I enjoy about Hamjet is the same as everyone else. Nothing's the same. You're always doing something different daily. And yeah, the people you work with, they're awesome. So many smart guys, and you'll learn heaps from them. So yeah, just talk to everyone you can, make the connections. And the last thing for me is, in your search for employment, be persistent, relentless, but be polite. Like, companies want people that are driven. So if you show them that you're really keen, then you know they're gonna want you. So yeah, just keep going.
Awesome, thank you, Alice. Yes, Alice was very persistent, and he was very good. So we finally got him into an interview. So well done, Alice. I'd like to introduce you.
Sorry about that.
That's fine. I'd like to introduce you to Rebecca, and Rebecca's got a great story to share too. Thank you, Rebecca.
Thanks, Grant. I'm Rebecca. I did software engineering at UC. I finished that up at the end of last year. And so I have been part of the grad program since January. And I also did an internship at Hamilton Jet, same year as Jessica and Dylan in 2019. So I am currently working in the software part of the controls team. I'm working on a tool which will enable us to be able to test our control system using a model propulsion line. And so this tool enables us to actually go, I know that this boat is going to use this jet, and therefore I'm going to test it using those parameters. And so that's actually a continuation on the projects that I was working on as an intern. As an intern, I was working on the hardware of that and the embedded system code of how would that work and how would that fit together. And now I get to see how that work that I did 2 years ago has not only enabled the team to progress, but has now opened up a new space where we're working on a Windows application to be able to program that same piece of hardware. So one of the things that I've loved in coming back to Hamilton Jet is I've been able to see that the work I did as an intern was actually incredibly valuable. I wasn't just thrown a random project because they needed something to give an intern to do that was really useless. It's actually proven to be really helpful and is still being used now. One of the biggest challenges that I found both in my Hamilton Jet internship and in the other internship I did at the ICN is that because you're only on an internship for 10 weeks, you always feel like the newbie. And so it's hard to feel like you're really in the team because you're new and you know that in 10 weeks time you're leaving and you might not come back. And so it's hard to really feel like you're embedded into team processes. And it's nice to be back as a grad and feel like actually, because I'm now here for a long time, I can be really part of that process and have a really good understanding of how the team is operating and how all the different pieces fit together. And I'm just loving the fact that there's so much versatility in our team and what the different people are working on. Even within the software team, there's people that are working on embedded code, there's people that are working on Windows projects. There's so much different software skills that are being used within the same team, but also within the wider company. I'm actually only a few weeks away from jumping ship from this team and going to a different team as part of the grad program. And so it's going to be really exciting to see how all of the different departments and all the different disciplines actually fit together, which I think is something that you miss in an engineering degree when you're so focused on the technical skills. So yeah, that's it from me. I love working at Hamilton Jet. As these guys have said, it's great. The people are great. Everybody's super welcoming. No question is a dumb question. So I would definitely recommend.
Awesome. Thank you, Rebecca. That's just awesome. Everybody, I'd like to introduce you to my colleague, Debbie. Debbie's in the HR team also. And Debbie, are we all good to go? Is Debbie there?
I noticed a pop up 10 minutes ago and it said Debbie left at the top. So
oh, did she?
have some difficulties.
That's okay. I knew we had some challenges. So look, I'll just share. Debbie Barnes looks after our graduate program, which we launched last year. And Jessica and Rebecca are specifically in that project, in that program. It's a 2-year program where the graduates go through, they're home-based, but during those 2 years, they'll rotate around different teams. It's not necessarily going to be the disciplines that you're used to. Both Jessica and Rebecca will end up in the marketing team for some part of their learning. And it just gives the opportunity as a graduate in this program, opportunity to see a company in all its facets. So it's a great opportunity to be in this program. And as I said, it's pity Debbie couldn't join us. She oversees that program. You get assigned a mentor, and it's different learning opportunities as opposed to being focused into one team or discipline. So that's what we offer also. So I think we've done our 40 minutes. So we've done very, very well. So thank you, everybody. That was wonderful. I'm not sure. I think this is the time we do the Q&A. Who coordinates this? Is that you, Shannon, or is that Aaron?
Well, I will really leave it up to you guys to answer. So do we have any questions from any of our listeners?
Feel free to fire them into the chat if you're not comfortable speaking out loud.
Yes.
Hey, I've got a question. One thing I'm struggling with is putting my CV together. So I'd just like to know what you guys think is important to have on there.
I can answer that one. Look, Max, I see lots of CVs. Don't overwhelm it. I'll put it this way. We like to know who you are, not just your averages at university or what you're studying. We like to know you as a person, maybe sports that you're playing, your interests, what makes you as a person. Keep it simple. Don't do multiple fonts. I tend to look, hey, 2 fonts are fine and just a little bit of color. Yeah, simple is better. I've seen the complex, 6 pages and I can barely read it.
Right.
Yeah, clean, simple, but tell us about who you are. And whatever the advert is, be clear that you answer what the company wants. So if they want a cover letter, do a cover letter. Yeah, we want to know who you are. Keep it simple.
Right. Awesome. Thank you.
Just the other thing to add on that, Grant, with you students, like we meet a lot of students, and sometimes it's helpful for you to throw a photo in your CV.
Oh, yeah.
I know it's not necessarily a done thing, but certainly for us that we see a lot of you guys, and certainly me personally tend to remember faces more than names. So yeah, don't be afraid to throw your photo in your CV as well, because if we meet you at a careers day or a Zoom call like this, we'll go, I remember that face, I remember that. So yeah, chuck your photo in as well.
Yeah,
awesome.
Thanks, Hamish.
Hi there. Do you mind? This is more of a technical question for Adam or someone in the Mechatronics team. I know Adam mentioned that you were using cellular coverage to view data and control the boats from anywhere in the world. Considering these boats are going into some pretty remote areas, how do you manage the IoT functionality when there's no cell phone or Wi-Fi coverage available?
You know, I'm so tempted to hand this over to Rebecca. Oh, not Rebecca, sorry, no, wrong person. Over to Jessica. Jessica was the one who works on Overwatch. So Overwatch is a program, basically it's an extra large beefed up PC that is sucking all the data off the boat. And then it has the capability to either connect via Wi-Fi. So when you get into dock, you can connect up through the boat's Wi-Fi system and transfer the data that way. Or if it is in cellular zone, so it actually stores the data and then transfers it. But it's not doing actual control. The control networks, they're typically done either via satellite or through military control systems.
Oh, yeah, cool.
Firefighting control systems. But yeah, hopefully Jessica can add a little bit more onto that and get some of the lessons learned that she's found.
Yeah, so for Overwatch, we were using like a cellular network, and it was actually pretty good in remote areas. So sometimes coverage it's not patchy, but it's just a longer time period between pings. So if you're in an area with quite a lot of coverage, you can send a message off every like few milliseconds. But if you're somewhere where there is less coverage, you can still send things at regular intervals. They're just longer. So it's still pretty good.
Interesting. Very cool. Thanks for that, Jessica.
To add to that as well, for like the advanced controls stuff, in Norway, because I think there's pretty bad coverage there, they even are looking at using inertial GPS. So it's not actually using satellites. It's kind of like IMU stuff. Yeah, I think we have a customer that's using that. Is that right, Adam?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Norwegian army we're not allowed to talk about. Yep, that one. Yep.
Awesome. Cheers.
Didn't say who it was.
Right, just got another question in the chat asking when your intern application's open.
Okay, I was going to round that out at the end of the day. So it actually physically opens tomorrow and it runs for 2 months. There's a slight delay. It will go up on our Facebook page and LinkedIn probably from Monday, not tomorrow. So the brochure will go up and all the CVs will come to me. So all the information will be advertised. So yes, so we have the summer internships and we have the graduate programs. So you need to be very clear what you're applying for in the cover letter. Just to give you a heads up, last year I had over 80 applicants. So it's a lot of CVs come through. And yes, I do read every application that comes in.
Just quickly, do you have to do an internship to be considered for graduate roles?
No. So even if you've done a summer internship, it is advantageous. It's great, but not necessarily no. So the graduate program is open to anybody.
Cool. Cheers. Thank you.
Just a quick question. What are your graduates doing 5 years down the track? Are they staying with Hamilton Jet or are some of them moving on?
Very good question, because we have 3 graduates and they've only just started this year. So we haven't got to the 5-year mark. But in saying that, Saxon, I think you've been with us 3 years already. Is that correct?
Yeah, I was just looking, I think I might be the longest, 3 years. Yeah, at this stage, to be fair, the company, we just had a forum where they do it every year, La Vida, and they go through what the state of the company is and what the company's up to. And for me, they just look like too much exciting stuff to be heading anywhere else at this stage. I guess lots of people do say, or I think it's pretty common to move after a couple of years. But yeah, I'll definitely be sticking around for a bit longer, because you're really starting to settle into your role and become a useful contributing member after a couple of years. So yeah.
Thanks, Saxon.
So we hired Tim Smale straight out of university. He's now in the future products team designing shore charging for hybrid systems at this very moment as we speak. And we also had Brendan Kelly come in as well. Now, Brendan was a mature student, probably in his 30s, I think, at the time. And when we hired him straight out of his university course, both of which are still with the company. So, yeah, the actual turnover for Hamilton Jet is pretty slow.
It's
actually,
very small.
I have actually heard that people have asked, why isn't it more?
We do have a 50-year club, don't we?
That's right, we do. Yeah.
Just on that note, at any given year, we could have anywhere from 3 to 8 to 12 summer interns. Some of those interns are actually working out in the factory doing their practical hours, especially on the mechanical side. So yeah, in any given year, there's quite a lot of UC students here. Just to answer that question too. Anything else there, Shannon?
No, that's great. No final questions from anyone?
You didn't have a plant there, Grant.
Sorry?
You didn't have a plant.
No. No. So yeah, so just to reiterate, the application's physically open tomorrow. And I do apologize, I won't be able to get it up on Facebook or LinkedIn tomorrow. It'll be up on Monday. And my email is grant.cameron@hamiltonjet.nz, or you can easily find it by just going to our website, and my information will be there too through careers. So we hope to, COVID permitting, have an invitation to invite students to Hamilton Jet to see our facility. We did that last year. We opened it up and we limited it to 40. So we'll keep you posted on what we're trying to do, so that you can get an overview of what Hamilton Jet is physically. It's always good, I say, to come and smell the business and see it, and you'd get to meet some of the people that have spoken today and see what we do. So on behalf of the company and everybody, I'd like to say thank you very, very much. Thank you.
Great.